Every single year, it's the same story. The lights get brighter, the season gets closer, and the entire NBA world starts asking the same question. Is this finally the year for the Lakers? The hype machine goes into overdrive. But this season, the people who actually work inside the league, they aren't just doubting the hype, they're literally laughing at it. And what they just revealed changes everything. So what's the actual word from inside the league? It's not just a few whispers. A major poll was conducted with the people who see this game from the inside, NBA coaches, scouts, and front office executives. The question was simple: do you believe in the Los Angeles Lakers? And the result is absolutely devastating. We're talking about a near unanimous lack of faith from the very experts who build the teams the Lakers are trying to beat. This isn't media speculation. This is a cold, hard truth from the heart of the NBA itself, and it tells you just how far the perception of this team has fallen among the people who know it best. And that move centers on one name: Austin Reeves. Just a year ago, he was seen as the untouchable core piece, the homegrown star to build around after LeBron. But now, the rumors are exploding. Reports indicate the Lakers are actively discussing a strategic trade that would send Reeves to the Dallas Mavericks. Why would they do that? Why trade a player who's been so reliable on offense? The reasons are cold and calculated. First, he's entering the final year of his contract and is reportedly seeking a massive payday, something near $30 million a year. Second, and this is the real reason, the Lakers have major concerns about his defensive limitations. They just added a defensive specialist like Marcus Smart, and that move suddenly makes Reeves and his flaws look expendable. So what's the proposed deal? It's a blockbuster. The Lakers would send Austin Reeves and a precious 2031 first-round pick to Dallas. In return, they'd get center Derek Lively II, a young, elite rim protector who already has proven chemistry with a superstar from his time in Dallas, and the tough, defensive-minded wing Caleb Martin, who's famous for his gritty playoff performances. This isn't just a trade, it's a complete philosophical shift. The Lakers wouldn't just be moving on from Reeves, they'd be publicly admitting they need to get tougher, grittier, and more defensive to even have a chance. And that tells you everything about how they view their own roster right now. But getting rid of a fan favorite is one thing. What they'd get back could change everything. But here's where the story gets complicated. The Lakers front office, fully aware of these glaring weaknesses, didn't just sit on their hands this summer. They executed one of the most aggressive and shocking off-seasons in the entire league. Let's break down the massive moves. First, they pulled off the blockbuster to end all blockbusters, acquiring superstar Luka Dončić to officially kickstart the next era in Los Angeles. They followed that up by signing defensive pitbull Marcus Smart to a 2-year deal, a move that directly addresses their perimeter defense concerns. And then they added former #1 overall pick DeAndre Ayton on a 2-year deal, bringing size and athleticism to the front court. On paper, this isn't just an upgrade, it's a full-scale demolition and rebuild of the roster around LeBron and AD. They waived players like Shake Milton and Jordan Goodwin to make room for these moves, signaling a complete philosophical shift. This new lineup looks terrifying, a core of Dončić, Smart, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Ayton. That is a legitimate super team on paper. And according to some projections, it might just work. ESPN's summer forecast actually has the Lakers winning 50 games and finishing as the 6th seed in a brutally tough Western Conference. That's a sign of respect for the sheer amount of talent they've assembled. This isn't just upgrading the roster, this is a fundamental shift on how the Lakers play the game.
So if the roster is so much better, why are the insiders still so skeptical? The answer isn't about talent anymore. It's about something far more fragile, and it's the biggest question mark hanging over this entire experiment. So if the talent is undeniably there, why is the skepticism from insiders so deafening? It's because they're looking past the names on the roster and focusing on one thing you can't buy: chemistry. And this new-look Lakers squad is a massive, high-stakes gamble in that department. Let's be real. You've just built a team around two of the most ball-dominant players the league has ever seen in LeBron James and Luka Dončić. The entire offensive system for both of their entire careers has revolved around them having the ball in their hands, controlling the pace and creating for others. How does that even work together? Who defers? Who takes the last shot? This isn't a video game where you just plug in high overall ratings. This is a potentially messy, real-life experiment with two alpha-tier superstars who are used to running the entire show. That leads directly to the second, and maybe even bigger, question mark: the coach. The Lakers fired Darvin Ham and made the stunning decision to hire a complete rookie, JJ Redick. Yes, he's a brilliant basketball mind, but he has zero coaching experience at any level. His first ever job as a head coach is now tasked with managing the massive egos of LeBron and Luka, integrating new pieces like Marcus Smart and DeAndre Ayton, and figuring out an offensive system that doesn't have two guys tripping over each other. It's a stunning level of risk for a team that claims it's in win-now mode. The insiders see this and they immediately get nervous. They see a roster that looks incredible in a vacuum, but one that could easily combust under the pressure, the scrutiny, and the sheer tactical complexity of making it all work. The talent is an A+. The fit, the chemistry, the coaching, that's a giant, unanswered question. And that's exactly why the experts are still refusing to buy the hype. But wait. It gets even more complicated because there's one more seismic factor that could blow this entire experiment up before it even begins. But all of these concerns, the fit, the coaching, the chemistry, they all orbit around one massive, unavoidable reality: LeBron James. And right now, he's the biggest question mark of them all. Just look at what happened this summer. LeBron opted in to his $52.6 million player option to stay with the Lakers. That sounds like a commitment, right? But then, almost immediately, his agent, Rich Paul, dropped a statement that sent shockwaves through the league. He said they need to evaluate what's best for LeBron at this stage, openly questioning if the Lakers' future-building timeline aligns with a 40-year-old's win-now window. Let's be clear. This is a power play. It's LeBron's way of putting the entire organization on notice without actually demanding a trade. One rival executive even called it LeBron just putting the pressure on Rob like he does every year. But this time, it feels different, because this time he's not the undisputed center of the universe anymore. The team is building around Luka Dončić. And here's the brutal truth the insiders see. LeBron might be stuck. By taking that massive $52.6 million, he made himself almost untradeable. Which contender can realistically put together a package for that contract without gutting their entire roster? The answer is almost none. So you have this bizarre standoff. You have this frustrated, aging superstar who might want out but has no easy exit, and a front office that just built a super team on paper but is now being undermined by its most important icon.
This creates a cloud of uncertainty that hangs over every practice, every huddle, every game. Is LeBron all in, or is he already one foot out the door? That kind of drama doesn't just affect LeBron, it impacts everyone in that locker room. And for the insiders, that intangible, unpredictable factor is just another reason to bet against the Lakers' chances. The talent is there, but the trust and the unity, that's a whole different story. And if you think the drama stops there, just wait, because there's one final crushing reason the experts have zero faith in this team, and it's the same problem that's haunted them for years. But even if the Lakers somehow solve all their internal problems, they're facing a brutal, undeniable reality. The Western Conference is an absolute meat grinder this season, and this is the single biggest reason those insiders have so little faith. Let's break it down. You have the defending champion Oklahoma City Thunder, who bring back their entire young dominant core and are projected to win a staggering 64 games. They're the definitive favorites. Then you have the Houston Rockets, who shocked everyone by landing Kevin Durant in that historic 7-team trade, instantly making them a top-tier threat. The Denver Nuggets are still there with Nikola Jokic, and they massively upgraded their bench by adding Jonas Valanciunas and Cam Johnson. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. The Minnesota Timberwolves are a 51-win team. The LA Clippers loaded up with veterans like Bradley Beal and Chris Paul.
Even ESPN's summer forecast, which projects the Lakers to win 50 games, only has them finishing as the 6th seed. That's how deep this conference is. The insiders look at this landscape and they see a minefield. They see a Lakers team that has to navigate health, chemistry, and a rookie coach, all while trying to consistently beat a dozen other teams that are also elite on paper. One executive put it perfectly. Why would you pick the Lakers to come out of the West? Who are you taking them over? The path isn't just hard, it's historically crowded. For the Lakers to even make the finals, they'd likely have to go through a murderer's row of Durant, Jokic, and the young Kings of Oklahoma City. That's a task that would be daunting for any team, let alone one with this many unanswered questions. But wait, it gets worse. Because there's one final crushing factor the experts know could derail this entire experiment before it even begins. And it's the one thing no amount of superstar talent can control. But even if the Lakers somehow magically fix the chemistry and survive the West, they're facing a problem with no easy solution. A problem that is arguably the root of all their other issues. They are financially handcuffed, and the construction of this roster is a legitimate nightmare. Let's break down the brutal numbers. The Lakers are a whopping $58 million over the salary cap. They're a repeater tax team, meaning they're about to be hit with a massive luxury tax bill for being over the limit multiple years in a row. Their total payroll allocation is sitting at over $213 million for just 15 players. This isn't just expensive, it's financially suffocating. And look at where that money is going. LeBron James is making $52.6 million. Luka Dončić is making $46 million. That's nearly $100 million tied up in just 2 players. Then you have role players like Rui Hachimura making over $18 million and Jared Vanderbilt making over $11.5 million. This roster is top-heavy to a catastrophic degree.
This financial disaster zone means they have zero flexibility to improve. They can't sign meaningful free agents. They can't take on salary in a trade without sending out matching money, which is nearly impossible when your valuable trade pieces are either untouchable or on bad contracts. A recent report even stated the Lakers are not expected to make any more trades before the season because their hands are completely tied. So what you see is what you get. A poorly constructed, top-heavy roster with minimal depth, no financial flexibility to fix it, and a ticking time bomb of chemistry experiments. The insiders look at this financial spreadsheet and they don't see a path to improvement. They see a team that is stuck with its flaws, destined to be exposed over the grueling 82-game season. But here's where it gets even worse. Because all of these problems, the chemistry, the finances, the brutal conference, they all place unimaginable pressure on one man who has never coached an NBA game in his life. And that might be the biggest gamble of them all. So after all of that, the financial handcuffs, the chemistry experiment, the brutal Western Conference, here's the most frustrating part of this entire story for Lakers fans. A window of opportunity is actually opening up across the entire NBA, but this team might be too broken to even climb through it. Let's look at the landscape. The defending champion Boston Celtics, their superstar Jason Tatum is out for the season after surgery to repair a torn Achilles tendon. The Eastern Conference champion Indiana Pacers, their engine Tyrese Halliburton is also out for the entire year with the same devastating injury. The Milwaukee Bucks, they waived Damian Lillard after his own Achilles tear. Even in their own conference, the Cleveland Cavaliers, a top team in the East, just lost key wing Max Struss for 3 to 4 months with a foot fracture. The league has been hit by an unprecedented wave of injuries to superstar players. The path to a title, on paper, has never been more open for a team with top-tier talent. And that's what makes the insiders' unanimous doubt so damn shocking. It's not that the opportunity isn't there. It's that the professionals who run the league look at this Lakers roster with all its talent and still believe they are fundamentally incapable of seizing it. ESPN's own summer forecast projects the Lakers to win 50 games
and be the 6th seed. But that projection feels like it's based solely on the names on the jersey, not the reality of the situation. The insiders see a team that is its own biggest enemy. The opportunity is knocking, but the Lakers are a house too divided, too financially strapped, and too poorly constructed to even answer the door. And that is the ultimate indictment. It's one thing to be doubted when the mountain is too high to climb. It's another thing entirely to be doubted when the mountain has been leveled by circumstances and the experts still don't think you can make it to the top. They believe the Lakers' problems are so deep, so internal, that not even a historic opportunity is enough to make them a true threat. But this story has one final, unpredictable variable, a wild card that could either solve all these problems or amplify them to a breaking point. And it all rests on the shoulders of a man who has never coached an NBA game in his life. So, there you have it. On paper, the Lakers have the talent to dominate, but the people who know the league best don't see a super team. They see a ticking time bomb of chemistry issues, financial problems, and a brutal conference ready to expose them. The window might be open, but the insiders are betting the Lakers are too broken to walk through it. Do you think they're right? Let us know in the comments.